Last time on Final Fantasy III, we beat up Bahamut and now he's a summon spell on William's magic list. That we'll probably never use. This time around, we're actually able to read letters from the Four Old Men. About time, too. It's been quite a while. In fact, back all the way at the second half of the game, just like at the start of it, after we beat Kraken. So it's good to finally be able to talk to those guys again. But we'll have to continue our conversations later because for the time being, we're going to be getting a start on the final dungeons in the game. Yes, the final dungeons. So, remember when I was talking about the whole no save points in dungeons thing? Well, it's about this point where that becomes extremely annoying. Not quite where we're going today, because today we're going to the Ancient's Maze, and the nice thing is, at the very least, there is a spot on the overworld just after it where we can save. Of course, there are no tents in this game, so if we need healing when we get past that point, well, we're just gonna have to backtrack through the Ancient's Maze again in order to actually do something about that. Oh, what fun, I said sarcastically. Oh, but trust me, I have been in the Ancient Maze several times before, going to go through it a few times after that. But for you, this is going to be, well, not the first, but the second and first full time you see it, and more importantly, the last. It is the only thing that stands in our way of the Crystal Tower, though, and that's where Xande's hiding out. So we got no choice to go through here. Not to imply it's any sort of challenge, because, quite frankly, the Ancient's Maze is quite a few levels below me by this point. I did actually use it for quite a bit of my grinding, actually. But now we're actually going to go through it proper, and don't worry, I didn't pick up any of the treasure chests, and in fact, I never really passed this first room. So first on our list of enemies is Thanatos, which I believe is one of the enemies I saw most often during this run of it. There are a few enemies here, but I think I missed quite a few of them, actually. Thanatos here is able to use Breaka, and of course, she can attack twice. You probably expected that because, well, it has been a while since we've seen her original version. That one was also able to attack twice. That was actually all the way back at Heinz Castle, so it has been quite a bit, actually. But that's done. I forget exactly how many of the enemies I see. Is it most of them? I don't know if it's over half or anything, but... Oh! Just as I'm about to get into the dungeon itself. Alright, the Greater Demon here can summon a different enemy in this dungeon called the Iron Claw. He's not going to do that here, and that's pretty much all he's good for. The Iron Claw, if you're wondering, that guy also doesn't really have any special abilities. He also doesn't have any weaknesses either. Greater Demon, though, is actually weak to light magic, so keep that in mind. And that's light and not lightning. Well, he basically did nothing, and he was one of the more annoying enemies on my grind. But anyway, the dungeon itself, I've made my points about the color brown quite a bit, and I'm pretty sure most people know where I'm coming from. It's a common complaint these days, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, stop using brown, stuff like that. But other than that, it's a neat-ish looking dungeon. It's kind of subdued, but I do like the movement in the dungeon, it's some weird technology, I guess. Really, I think it's more for decoration, because I can't see what purpose this would all serve. Unless it's for the Earth Crystal or something? I don't know why the Earth Crystal would need moving walls and little rotating things in the walls. Or maybe they're just a bunch of clocks that are just barely above screen, so we can't actually see them. Curse those ancients, placing clock heads where we can't actually find them in-game. Fiends they were. But the maze itself is pretty linear, and actually it's the first of pretty much the rest of the dungeons in the game being vastly different from the original version. In the original, it was a bit more maze-like. There were a few dead ends, though that was mostly the second and fourth floors. The other ones were treasure, I guess, dead ends. But again, I believe I made this point earlier, but is it really a dead end if there's treasure there? I don't consider it to be so. That being said, while I'd normally complain about a dungeon this linear because it is very, very linear, as I said before, you're going to be seeing this dungeon quite a bit, so the fact that they made it linear, yeah, it really helps when you're going to be seeing it so many times, because it's annoying as is. This is Une's clone. I don't know why Une has a clone, or why she's right here, but she sure is here. Of course, it's not quite as powerful as the real thing. It only knows these spells Blizzard and Protect. And it's dead now. Saw that one coming. Though you can access this area before you actually do the Doga and Une fight, so you can find her clone before you actually find her, and, well, I did, given I grinded here, so I saw Une's clone plenty of times. The lava doesn't really add much, by the way, in case you were wondering. It's just kinda there. I don't even know why. It doesn't even add much to the dungeon. I would prefer they kinda went all in with the whole technological thing, or mechanical at the very least. Because I think that would make slightly more sense given these are the Ancients, and given Deshk's father was an Ancient, and Deshk himself really, they were technologically advanced. They also built airships and the like. But yeah, it's a little underutilized here. Oh, Hellish Claws. If I remember correctly, these are the final claws in the game. Yeah, because I remember finishing the game with the Dark Claws on one hand. So yeah, Hellish Claws, last ones. That's a little weird. It feels like there should be a few more pairs of those, but I guess Black Belts didn't get that much love. But we're actually at the end of the dungeon, so yeah, next time on Final Fantasy III, after we do a few errands here and there, we're going to enter the final dungeon of the game, the Crystal Tower.